10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, the Competition Plus Power Hour is live once again on the CompetitionPlus.com platforms. Hello, I'm Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. Over there, Mr. Dugenet Bland, host of the Not Bland Show. Dugenet, we're just getting more reports in from NHRA and what we witnessed with our own eyes in Gulfport, Mississippi. There at Gulfport Dragway, the racecation destination. Drag racing is alive and well and had another stellar weekend.
Stellar, man. It's amazing to see the numbers for the NHRA, and I'm not surprised it being the Motorplex. They do an excellent job of things that we talk about here amongst ourselves, privately on the show, promotion, fan engagement, making sure that the fan knows every integral part that's going on. I'm not surprised, and it was perfect for them to have that NFL lead in. Yes. Super fitting for, the biggest thing in Dallas is the Texas Motorplex, not the Dallas Cowboys. Let's just be clear.
Especially this year. Wow. Oh, maybe Billy and Christy can coach up Jerry a little bit on some things. You never know.
Some help.
They need some help. They do. And I'm a Cowboys fan, and I can say that. They need some help. Oh, man. Well, speaking of Billy Meyer, the legend, we've got him here on the Competition Plus Power Hour in just a few moments. We get a recap from him on the weekend, his thoughts. And, man, he was lighting the hides up and out there in front of the laser show and just taking it all in. And, yes, the Motorplex doing it right, setting the bar, leading the way. I mean, Dugenet, how many tracks are copying them now in just the Friday night qualifying element? So cool.
Everybody, and they need to be.
Yes,
they're giving you the blueprint, and if you want this thing, you want to take things to another level, that's what you got to do. You got to do that, and I love seeing them continue to. They not only set the bar, but then they move it every year, and they moved it again this year. A lot of cool stuff that they had out there on Friday night. I mean, the thing was loaded. If you're a fan, there was no reason for you to be bored.
Right.
They were loaded. Even during downtime, they were loaded. It was exceptional what they put together, and I love the fact that they're not afraid to try something new. Get out there and push the envelope a little bit. And hey, let's do something and see if it works. You know what I mean? I love it.
Well, they're definitely doing that which works, and we're going to talk to Billy Meyer right after this break concerning Weldon High Performance. We are thankful to have them as the presenting sponsor and partner of the Competition Plus Power Hour. For your high performance needs, when you need a pump, it's going to be from Weldon. And with us live, the living legend, Billy Meyer. Billy, I know you got to be tired, but yet I know you've got to be ecstatic over a successful stampede of speed for the Texas Motorplex.
No, yeah, we're extremely excited. Obviously, I'm glad to help Jerry Jones get better ratings for his TV show, but that's a joke. It was. It was a crazy weekend as far as everything being perfect. I get to be the one that sits here with y'all and talk, but my daughter, obviously, and the team that we have established over the last 5 years is the ones that have created the Stampede of Speed, and they're the ones that do all the work, and I'm the one that gets the credit. So it's kind of cool. I don't have to do anything.
I'm interested, and I'm interested in the fans knowing the backstory for you in this Texas Motorplex. There was actually going to be another person that had purchased some land that was going to build a track as well, just like you were going to. Could you tell people that story and how unique that was? I thought it was funny how the story ended too. That it was great.
I'll try to make a long story short, but obviously, racers are competitive, and I was going to announce that we were going to build the Motorplex. I already had the land set up, and then all of a sudden, Norm Parrott, that owned Baton Rouge Racetrack, and Kenny Bernstein announced that they were going to build a racetrack. This was in 1985, and so I went and I found out where they were going to build the racetrack. I found out the land they were buying. I found out the realtor, and I called the realtor, and they had let their option on the land run out. So I bought the land out from under them. And so when I announced I was going to build the Motorplex, David Smith from the Dallas Morning Sports, he was the editor of Dallas Morning News. He called me and said, "Why are you this stupid? Why are you doing this? Why are you going to announce that when they've already announced?" I said, "Well, Dave, you may ought to find out who owns the land they're talking about building on." And so it was we had a little bit of issue, me and Kenny, for a while after that, but it all seemed to work out fine.
Yeah.
It did. It did certainly work out fine. And we've got the Texas Motorplex and a fine facility it is. And I know that just celebrated 40 years, and I think we can look forward to another 40 years of great drag racing and great events. But Billy, in the business model, many of us know that you weren't really seeing 40 years. You thought you'd probably be pushed out well before 40 came around. And here the Texas Motorplex stands. It's stronger than ever. Your thoughts on where the Texas Motorplex is today?
Well, actually, my business plan, which I still have, it's original spiral-bound copy, about 50 pages for me to get my financing. It was 25 years. And we assumed that noise abatements and all the problems with growth and everything would drive us out by then, and the land would be worth so much that you couldn't keep it. The land is worth so much you shouldn't keep it, but right now, but the fact it has now gone 40 years and it is historical. It's not just a facility in a town. It's kind of like the Indy 500 track is. I mean, it's here, and people are building houses around the place and don't care, and because they know this is basically, you can't even type in Ennis, Texas, or Waxahachie or Ellis County. You can't type the word in without coming up with the word Texas Motorplex. And so it's kind of a permanent fixture in this community, no matter what happens. And so that kind of changes our philosophy on the fact that the land value is worth so much.
Man, you've been racing funny cars since you were 16. What's your thoughts on the state of funny car and funny car racing today?
Well, I did a burnout last weekend, and they damn sure got more power than they used to have. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's strong. Obviously I'm a little biased. I think funny car is the coolest car out there, and obviously Top Fuel and funny car to me are the two coolest cars. But Pro Stock has done a great job in the last couple of years, changing some things around. And so, I mean, all the pro categories and the Pro Stock motorcycles, everybody, all the pro categories have done a great job. But I think, obviously, I'm just overly biased. Because actually, the only car I've ever been in my life is a funny car. I've sat in one Top Fuel car in my entire life, and it was Daryl Gwynn's car in 1990 at Indy. He wanted me to sit in it just to see what it felt like. And it wasn't like bull riding because the motor wasn't in front of me. So I got out and said, "Good, that's a nice car."
You got the burnout in, and what a cool moment it was. You at the wheel of a funny car there at the Texas Motorplex, your daughter backing you up. I've got to ask, though, like, was there any thought in your mind after the burnout that, just like with Raymond Beadle in the other lane, just whip it around and drive it on back instead of backing it up like you did back in the day?
Well, they do have a little more traction than they did back then, so it'll be a little be almost impossible to do what we used to do on the match race tours, or we could hit, turn the throttle and, turn the steering and hit the throttle and grab the brake and spin them out. And so my luck is I would have flipped the car or something stupid and ruined the whole night. So yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. Now I will say this, I did think about wanting to stage it pretty hard and actually leaving the starting line, but my marriage is more important than that.
It was a hard no from the missus, huh?
Well, I think Christy was still standing in front of me too, and I'm not sure that I wanted to run over my daughter.
Well, we need to get you entered in for Funny Car Chaos in 2026 in the Fall Nationals. We need a Billy Meyer return. I like that storyline. We need that. Let's do it.
Yeah, that may be a little over the top for my family. I think we'll just keep promoting the race and get more people every year and keep growing the event.
And you all have done that. I know the first time I ever attended a race at the Texas Motorplex for the Fall Nationals, it's not that it was a bad crowd, but there's a lot of aluminum there, and you could tell that there's some work to do. But y'all have put that work in, man. Every day, it looked good there at the Texas Motorplex. Probably the most I have seen in the modern day personally in covering drag racing. So y'all have worked hard, and it has paid off, and butts are in those aluminum seats.
Well, it's the largest crowd on the NHRA tour. So it's we finally have gotten back to the year in 1996. Christy's done a phenomenal job with the team and our marketing team and promotional team and production team, and it's just totally different than what it was when I was in charge. Where it was more just about drag racing. And 96 is the biggest year we ever had in our life, and this is the first year we've ever eclipsed that. And that's even with NASCAR and IndyCar and everything now in Texas, which it didn't have when we did it in 96. So, this year we were up 24%, for Christ's sakes. It's growing. Every single year that they accomplish this with Christy and the team, it's growing leaps and bounds. And our music festival was up 12%. Next year we already have Brad Paisley booked and Travis Tritt booked, and so the total overall thing. We had 9,000 people in the grandstands Saturday night in between music sets watching funny cars run, and that's just been the goal that we've had, trying to create more drag racing fans. And we had Peter with Texas 2K that they did exhibition runs every single day. And that crowd is as big as this crowd, and their formula, their McLarens, and it's all street racing. So the more we intermingle everybody together to understand, how cool professional NHRA drag racing is, it just continues to grow, because nobody's ever been. I assume y'all have taken as many people as I have. You've never taken someone to an NHRA national event when they didn't just look at you and go, wow, I had no idea. This is, it's because it gets every century of your body. It's kind of like hockey, with the way I describe it. Hockey sucks on TV, and drag racing isn't the greatest on TV compared to live. Because you don't get the smell and the feel and the sound and the vibration, and you're sitting there talking about 24,000 horsepower on the starting line, and when you hit the throttle, there's nothing. Maybe a SpaceX rocket ship, taking off, maybe a school, but there's nothing like that. And hockey, the same thing. You don't get the sweat and the smell and the banging the walls and stuff on TV, and it's just totally different that way.
You guys have had a model that you envisioned, and from your vantage point, has the sport itself lifted up to that model and your vision of what you saw?
Well, obviously I started it with a different vision than bull riding and concerts and things. I was a professional drag racer, so I'm thinking about the sport itself. And it all happened basically because of one weekend in my life. I was the Skull Bandit race team car in 1981. I was the first Gold Bandit car ever, and the chairman of the board, Lou Bantle, and his wife. I go with my partners, Burt Reynolds, Hal Needham. We're the NASCAR team on our team. I go to the, go to Daytona, and they got caviar and wine, and they're in the suites, and they decided the drag race they want to go to is Englishtown in 104-degree weather in the summer with no suites and porta potties. And I realized, I just lost a sponsor. They're 65 years old, flew in a Gulfstream, and they're going to a porta potty. And I said, well, drag racing is a big league sport playing in minor league baseball and minor league parks. And so that was my whole goal, was to build a major league ballpark, just so we could actually have entertainment, that in a facility that matched what we were actually doing.
Billy, you've certainly done that, and I know after you built the Motorplex, a super facility, there was a wave across the country of tracks being renovated and built very much in the style to the Texas Motorplex, and it elevated the sport. Absolutely. So yes, it did. It did. I'm now gone. My home national event, the Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway, it had that effect after you did what you did, and they went through and changed it and became a great facility. So, you did it, and you're continuing to lead the way. Something that the Texas Motorplex has led in is also in performance, and now the Texas Motorplex, thanks to David Grubnick, the team there at Monster, and the speed of Queen of Speed, the Texas Motorplex has got its 340 now. Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, obviously, it's the best racing service, no question, in the world. And as y'all know, the difference between different tracks and stuff has to do with the temperature of the day and the sun and whatever, and the altitude of the racetrack, who can actually perform the best. But I've been blessed by just stupid luck that I did it this way and built this post-tension all concrete racetrack. And this is the 40th anniversary. And the only thing we've ever done the racetrack is diamond cut 1/4 of an inch off the top of it. And everybody else is repaved 10 times, and so but the fact that it's the post-tension concrete and it's non-porous, I mean, it's got 100% traction. So, I mean, it's just been, from a financial standpoint and from a competition standpoint, it's been probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life as a business person.
There's a great question in the comments there. Blake asked you if you had an opportunity to run an NHRA funny car again, would you like to?
That's a stupid question.
That's a yes 100 times over.
Like I said, I don't need a new president of the company being my daughter, and I don't need a new wife. And so, with those two things said, I guess I wouldn't want to drive, but yeah, that would be a blast to be able to do that one time. Obviously, I'm not the youngest guy in the world anymore, but it was really fun the other night doing that, and so it does put your competitive juices back on. So I don't get that competition anymore except on the golf course, and so that. And you don't get hurt on the golf course very often. And so it seems to be probably where I am in life.
Well, we are back in a day of drag racing where the IHRA is a real thing with the professional categories and moving forward. You owned the IHRA at one time and had an absolutely abysmal year with rain. It was tough. And what would you have to say to the new ownership, to the new group leading the IHRA, and how to be successful other than make sure you don't have to bring umbrellas?
Good luck. I mean, I hope they don't have the acronym I had was IHRA meant it has rained again. It's just like anything else in life. Obviously, competition is good. Competition will help NHRA grow and get stronger. I mean, there are people that like to do different things. There are different golf programs. You know, there's Live Golf and there's the PGA Tour, and there's room for more than one person in the world because there's different personalities in the world. So I I think they'll do fine. I mean, you know, it'll be a different. I mean, you're not trying to be Coca-Cola; they're trying to be, you know, some other brand, and just like Live Golf versus PGA Tour, and you know, wish them all the luck they got in the world.
Do you ever look back on your life and where you started as young as you did, and you know, kind of reflect on the journey that you tracked through your career as a funny car racer?
Not on my funny car career. You know, obviously, you know, I made that decision to do that rocket car program, and that took a few years out of my career because, you know, I had to sell my race car team. I was still able to drive a race car during that time, and so I drove for Gene Snow, for 6 months. We needed back surgery, and I drove for Pluger and Geiger, and I drove for the California Charger for Keelan and Clayton. I was living in California doing the rock car project, but that took 2 years out of my career. You know, and then obviously I quit quite young. I quit at 33, which I don't think anybody in history has ever done that. But I did it to raise my family because I was never at home. So I really don't have any regrets. I mean, the 2 years kind of taken out of what I could have been accomplishing at that point, you know, may have hurt, but the recognition of doing the stuff and getting to be friends with Burt Reynolds and Al Needham helped so much with the sponsorship stuff later. It was probably worth the issue.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, last question I've got for you. You mentioned raising a family. I imagine that it's almost hard to put to words, and I imagine it's immensely emotional that your daughter is leading the way with what you have built and put forward in the sport of drag racing and is carrying it forward in a great way. Chrissy Meyer Johnson is doing a great job, and you're getting to see her do that great job each and every day.
Oh no, it's good. I get the recognition for it. But no. She's definitely a Meyer bloodline. You know, her and my son both are incredible work ethic and family ethic, and the way they operate is staggering to Deborah and myself. And Deborah and I pray every night for them.
Well, Billy, look, thank you for your time. Again, congratulations on a successful stampede of speed from the opening acts all the way to the fall nationals. Anything else for us tonight?
Well, I mean, obviously, like I said earlier when we started the show, I'd rather give all the recognition to my team and Christy. I just get to be the face that sits there and waves and shakes hands, kisses the babies, and signs autographs. And so I get the glory, and they do all the work, and none of this would happen without them, not me.
Well, Billy, that's a good word. We appreciate your time. Have yourself a good rest of your evening. Thank you for coming on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and we can't wait to get down to the Lone Star State for, well, in my case, Funny Car Chaos, working with Chris Graves, but also then the Stampede of Speed in 2026. Thank you, Billy.
Thank y'all, guys. Can't wait. God bless you.
Folks, Billy Meyer, an absolute legend in many ways in the sport of NHRA drag racing, from driving a funny car to winning in funny cars to bringing big name sponsors, changing the landscape of facilities. I mean, when you dive back in on it, again, Billy builds the Texas Motorplex, and then there is a wave across other facilities in NHRA drag racing. They're like, oh, hold up. And you find this tower model that is very similar to, well, the Texas Motorplex go across the country at NHRA national event tracks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And when you look at Chicago, you talk about Atlanta, it was really, really a lot of tracks that took that model. I think Pomona has that too, and it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. It is a classic look, but that they are. I wish Chicago could be the same because they have that same stadium bowl type deal. I think it can be, but it really is amazing what they've been able to do over the years, and it's been amazing to see them continue to grow, continue to make it bigger and bigger. And yeah, they had that thing packed out, man. It was really cool to see just everybody, and nobody moved, man. Like everybody was just locked in. It was from the fence to the stands. It was really cool to see that.
Yes, phenomenal turnout once again. Laser show this year, like full on laser show on Friday night. They keep playing it up, and I love how they dive into the theme. Like they're not apologetic about being Texas.
Right.
And they're showcasing it with, all over the Watusi, and they're showcasing it with the little cowgirls holding the Texas flag, and, all these different things. It is very cool that they are doing what they're doing. They're leading the way. So many tracks are copying them in different ways. It is, I hope the NHRA with Indianapolis Raceway Park and what they're doing, I hope they look at Indy and they make some tweaks as well, not to take anything away from the history, but rather to add to the pageantry of it. That's something, a few years back, I went to my first Indianapolis 500, and because I had just watched the race, I didn't realize how much pageantry there was before the race. And that's just as important to the race itself. It really is a Memorial Day celebration. I didn't realize that. Like, it is immensely a part of it and tied to it. And you've got all of this that leads up to the actual race itself. And I like what the Texas Motorplex has done, even a week out from the Fall Nationals. They're building up to it. They're bringing people in, and they're exposing people to drag racing possibly for the first time. And I know that because I've took photos in the pit covering the concert at the Stampede of Speed and talking to people who I've never seen a car like that in my life. I'd like to go to an NHRA national event. And then Elan's like, well, we'll hook you up with tickets. Come on out. So, yeah, it is working. It's very cool. Well, someone that's putting in some work is Mr. Dallas Glenn. He is getting it done, and I'm pulling for him. I'm hoping this year he gets it done all the way. Before we get Dallas on, we've got him in the green room, and we're going to bring him on right after this break. And I just got to say, Dallas, beat the old man. Beat the old man, okay? That's all I got to say. I see you smiling. You know you want to, and I want you to as well. We're all pulling for you. I know we're media and we're not supposed to be biased, but I'm pulling for Dallas Glenn. Get the job done. And we are. I mean, at this point, it's a two-man race. It's between him and Greg Anderson in NHRA Mission Foods Pro Stock. So the man who won the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals got his cowboy hat and also is leading the way in points. Up next, Mr. Dallas Glenn. This word from Competition Products. If you want to compete at a high level, you're going to need those products from Competition Products.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Now, I know about 40 minutes north from Ennis is actually Dallas, but it does fit well. Dallas wins in Dallas. Congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. You guys hear me?
Yes, we got you, man. We got you.
Okay, just want to make sure everything's good. Yeah.
Hey, look at all those Wallies behind you joining us. Hello, Wally number 1, Wally number 2, Wally number 3.
Yeah. No, it was definitely good. Dallas is a really hard place to win at. Especially when it's all hot and greasy and tricky. Like I take that over the rain any day, though, as Billy was saying earlier.
Yeah, getting off to a really good start in this countdown. Something that I know you have been wanting to make sure that this time you close the deal. Great win here. Looking forward to Vegas. Did you have that circled on your calendar after last year, making sure that this year, hey, I've got the momentum and I'm not letting that happen again?
I kind of feel like I have all the races circled. Just try to just go up and not make any mistakes. It's even though I feel like I haven't been as good as I was last year on the starting line. I feel like I'm driving the rest of the car better this year. Definitely making better runs. The car is definitely working better. I think I've qualified number one, number two, and number three. So you can't deny that I have a pretty fantastic car at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. You do have that. All of KB Titan is running exceptionally well. Break down for us what you just said, though. You feel like you're not doing as well on the lights, but driving better elsewhere. How you said I feel like that? Does the numbers reflect that? Why do you make that observation and tell it to us here live? What's the critical there?
Well, as far as the reaction times go, I think last year in the countdown, my average was like 21 or 18 or so, right in that kind of range. I felt like I was, right at the top of the group as far as, average reaction time each race. Whereas this year I've been a little bit more, relaxed to make sure I don't make any mistakes that, where I beat myself, so to speak, where I can be 50 on the tree and instead I went red kind of thing. Kind of like the mistake I made at Indy, where I feel like that one was all on me. If I would have just held the pedal down, even if I was, 40 or 50 on the tree, I felt like my car was good enough as long as I made a good run right there that I should have been able to get to the next round at Indy. And I let everybody down. I was trying to be aggressive. I had already lost to Erica in the Too Fast, Too Tasty on Saturday, and I didn't want to lose again, and I got a little too greedy. So this year I'm just trying to not beat myself, so to speak. But as far as the rest of the driving, burnouts, staging, shifting, if the car throws a little bit of a curveball at me where it's spinning or it's shaking a little bit, getting the car to recover and not wailing the chip and then missing other shifts after that those kind of things. I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job so far. And I think some of that is, we've done a lot of testing this year and I've made a lot of passes and I kind of feel like I've been on autopilot a little bit as far as that goes.
Has that testing really helped you guys in your performance? You guys have been pretty much staying ahead of the curve all season long, you and Greg. Has that testing more helped that?
Yeah, absolutely. Testing, while sometimes you go out there and you test and it can sometimes lead you in the wrong direction or get you a little lost sometimes. But going out there, making laps, breaking parts in, just that part of it is going to just help you out, just to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. Everything is broken and ready to go racing. And then plus, we're trying things. We're trying to do some research and development. We're trying to find the next thing. You find 1,000th here, you 1,000th there, 1,000th there, and over a few test sessions, maybe you've got another 100 on somebody, and 100th in Pro Stock is a big deal. If you look at just the last qualifying, like if you go 55, you're not qualifying, and then if you go 54, you're top half of the field. So 100th could definitely make the difference.
In particular, the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals, a win there. Another cowboy hat, which doesn't fit under headphones, obviously. You give us the breakdown on that win. Give us the breakdown on qualifying, all the pageantry, your thoughts on the Stampede of Speed, yet putting all that out and focusing in on driving and driving towards possibly your first championship.
Oh, Stampede to Speed is a great race to go to. They do a fantastic job with the fans and having entertainment and things going on all week long. Definitely great job promoting and it's for a fan to come in, it's a absolutely great time. They've got lots of things going on constantly. Even when there may be the occasional oil down, they still have things going on and people to see and things to do. So it's fantastic as far as what the track does for that, and it's great to see big crowds there and the fans. You have a lot of people coming up and doing autographs, getting autographs at autograph sessions, and coming to see us at the trailer and looking at the cars and everything. And that is fantastic, and it definitely helps. Obviously, not having rain. Rain is very, very bad for any race that we go to, but it was a little bit of a hot weekend, and I feel like this has been an abnormally hot countdown that we've had so far, and thankfully we've been making the most of it. But this race was it's tough. When you have a Friday night qualifying session like that, when the weather is hot, and then all of a sudden you're going to have one session that is considerably better than the rest. It's kind of a do or die to go up there Friday night and make sure that you do your job well. It's like when I go up there on a Friday night session like that, where I know this is basically going to set at minimum the top half of the field, most likely the majority of the field with a little shuffling after that. I'm not trying to cut a light. I'm not trying to race anybody. I'm just going up there. I'm going to try to do my burnout perfect. I'm going to try to stage carefully, and I'm going to try to hit all those shifts as perfect as I can and make sure I'm right in the middle of the groove. So, we did I was not unhappy with my run, I should say. I felt like there might have been a little bit more that we missed out on, but he ended up number 3. I was on the opposite side of Greg Anderson, which I prefer because he seems to not be very nice to me early in eliminations like he was in St. Louis. So I was happy to have that change. And we had KB Titan was top 3 right there.
Yeah. Funny stat that we kind of looked at on my show earlier. And if Greg were to win and you were to runner up these next 2 races out, you guys would end in a tie. And then it would come down to round win-loss record. At that moment, unfortunately, Greg would be the one that would win. I think he would have one extra win round win-loss record.
Don't tell him that, Dugenet. Don't tell him that. No,
I think it's a cool stat.
No.
I think it's definitely a cool stat. I didn't know that he has technically one more round win than me. I thought I would have him in that category because he tends to get more qualifying points than I do, and that's the biggest thing I think that's going to be a factor here coming into these next 2 races, especially in Pomona. Being in the points and a half setup, you get 4 points each qualifying session to be the fastest of the session. So instead of being 3, 2, and 1, it's 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then, just position points from qualifying. A lot of people forget about those. If you qualify number 1 and I qualify 3rd, he's going to get 2 more points than me. So while we are at that kind of magical number right now, the chances of us staying that way through the next 2 races, I think, are pretty slim. So if you look at coming into Texas versus leaving Texas, he technically gained 5 extra points on me in qualifying. So, the first 2 races, I think I got a little bit on him. And then St. Louis, he got some on me. And then in Texas, he got some on me. So, it should be interesting.
Your side of the drag strip during Greg Anderson's missed burnout staging opportunity there at Maple Grove. I mean, such a strange thing. Yet the last time I remember that happening, it happened at Maple Grove in qualifying. I think it was Alan Perninsky and one other 3 years ago. It's kind of an obscure rule, but it happens, and it happened and kind of, it got Greg. What was all the chatter like, or did you even know until you got the one signal and sent it?
Yeah, I while I'm doing my own thing, I'm paying probably more attention, but a little bit of attention to what's happening in the other lane, just in case something goofy is going on. So I remember we both fired up about the same time. And I remember rolling forward, and I couldn't hear him start his burnout because we started pretty close together. And I remember that I didn't see any smoke or see him rolling out with me out there. And I thought that was a little odd. I was like, oh, maybe he's stuck to burnout. And then I kind of they have a big screen in Maple Grove, and I can look up at the big screen and I see him backing up. I'm like, oh, he's stuck to burnout. I said, okay, maybe that can give me 100th or something. Maybe it's might, make his clutch a little bit hotter than normal, or something a little bit, throw him out of his routine a little bit. And I remember I backed up, and I thought I could hear him do another burnout, and I could just see when I backed up, the starter and all the crew guys did not have a good look on their face. They were not happy at all. The starter was telling him to shut off, and I was just kind of like, is this really happening? Are they really shutting Greg off? I'm like, is he broke or whatever? And no, he came over and gave me the one. I'm like, are we sure? Like, I'd rather race him. I don't want him to be disqualified for anything like that. But, I guess the rules are the rules. And, he had a little lapse there and made a mistake. But, I remember it was right before I started, I think. It was actually Jason Lyon had kind of discovered that rule. He got tossed out doing that once as well. And he had no idea there when he made that mistake. But to have that round kind of go that way was I think probably a big thing that really got the momentum kicked, because it could have been a whole different countdown right there if Greg beats me and goes to the final round. All of a sudden now he's in the lead and the momentum shifted for the next race, and just the whole feel of the whole countdown is all different. But yeah, I remember I was so like discombobulated from it. Like I was, I pre-staged and when I staged, I was still like in a little bit of a state of shock that I almost forgot to put my foot down, put the gas down, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do something here. And I remember I put my foot down, the tree came down. I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to cut a light at this point. I'm just gonna try to make a nice clean run, and that's why I was like 115 on the tree or something like that. It was horrible, but we made a nice clean run and we got lane choice for the final, which is what mattered.
Well, you're in a comfortable position right now with 2 races to go. It really is pressure's on Greg, because if there is any weather and there is any chance that a qualifying session or sessions get canceled, that plays into your favor. He needs all the points that he can get right now. Obviously, you want to keep the lead, but you're in a prime position right now, given 2 races left, if there were to be any weather that would come about.
Yeah, definitely being the leader and not being the one chasing is where I would prefer to be, because if anything like that does happen, then you've got the lead to fall back on. But historically, Las Vegas in October is a pretty dry and warm place, as well as Pomona. I don't remember, I think, like the last time we had rain in Pomona for the finals. You tend to see that more in the Winter Nationals than you do the finals. Finals is still pretty nice that time of year, but it can happen. Anything can happen. Weather is extremely unpredictable. I'm not going to count on anything weird like that happening. I'm just going to try to go up there and try to do the best I can and see if I can try to get a little bit better than on my average on lights.
Well, I do know this, Dugenais, when it comes to weather, yes, the finals, very consistent, probably not going to get anything, but I do know from covering Top Alcohol and them running much later than they were supposed to, that wind and dust at Las Vegas can be a problem, and it can shut things down. That has happened before, so you never know. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but you do never know. Hey, speaking of Las Vegas, Mr. Truck Driver, if I may speak to him, which way do you like to go? Like out right now, out of the area of Mooresville? I mean, do you risk 40 and its narrow lanes through the washed out Helene sections and continue over, or go a different direction to get out to Sin City?
I've actually gone through that washed out section a few times this year already, and it's really not that bad. It's a little narrow, but I mean, it's plenty wide for us. It's just something that you can't be doing too much sightseeing while you're driving. You just got to kind of pay a little bit more attention. Yeah, it's not too bad, and it's really only 20, 30 miles through there. So once we're there, but yeah, 40 is pretty much the way I like to go. You can get on 40 here in Statesville, North Carolina, just 20 minutes up the road, and you just stay on 40 until you get to Kingman, Arizona.
Yeah, no, and I like the ride. A lot of people are like, man, 40's boring. I'm like, man, I think it's pretty. I think there's a lot of great stuff to see. In particular, you got some great things through North Carolina, Tennessee. Arkansas is kind of boring, I think, out of the whole trip, but I like the panhandle of Texas, and then you get all the different rock formations in New Mexico and Arizona. I think it's a neat ride.
Yeah, no, there's lots of to see. If you're going through the panhandle of Texas up there, if you go through during the light, you can see the buried Cadillacs there that have been in, a bunch of, music videos and TV shows and stuff. And then, if you go through Arizona, if you know where to look, you can see the Meteor Crater. And, there's lots of good sightseeing stuff out there. Lots of Indian and Native American things out there.
Dry race mayhem. I've always wondered that too. Like, it's got to be tough with some of these places that you guys go to. The roads are small. Those trucks are huge. There's some butt clenching moments. Have to be.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've got quite a bit of it. I've been driving the truck for almost 13 years now, 12 years, something like that. And I have a very specific way I like to go into Maple Grove, and I don't deviate. Yes, those roads are very narrow. It is you have to know what turns to take and how to take those turns, especially there's a few branches and things and trees that lean over the road that you have to be aware of in those big trucks. And there's most of the tracks we go to are not very bad. If you look at Texas, the main thing you got to worry about is make sure that you're not in that right hand turn lane when you go try to make the turn into there, because with the big long trailer, it will drop off into the ditch going there. So you got to make sure you take that plenty wide. And, St. Louis is a piece of cake to get into. It's right off the freeway, but Charlotte, we take back roads there just because our shop's 30 minutes away, but it's, right off freeway, super easy. Maple Grove is definitely one where if you've never been in there in a big rig, you might want to ask somebody who's been in there before, because you don't want to follow GPS in there. It can take you into areas you don't want to go.
Yeah, I have to agree. And not that I've done it in a big rig, but Worldwide Technology Raceway is sitting in a great spot to get off and on the big highways and yet still access that facility. They thought pretty well with it. It's pretty neat, pretty well laid out. Well, Dallas, let's talk to drag racer beyond Pro Stock. How has that been going this year? Have you been in the big money bracket races, got in any extra racing, or has it just really been NHRA Mission Foods Pro Stock?
It's pretty much just been Pro Stock, with the exception of I did get to run the Million in Vegas this year, the Spring Fling Million. Unfortunately, Dave Connolly likes to schedule the Folk Million, the original Million, during Charlotte National event, so I don't get to run that one. As far as just the normal bracket racing stuff, I haven't really gotten to do much with Sadie and I buying property and trying to build a place. Even though we haven't got really going into it yet, it's still a lot of work. And with the amount of testing and racing that we've been doing, the amount of work that we've been doing, hasn't been a whole lot of time for it. So when I do get an off weekend, unless there's like a real big race that I can go hit, it's pretty much just been golf and relaxing.
How's Sadie's racing been this year, and how's the car?
Car's been a lot better than it was last year, for sure. It makes clean runs. She's she's happy with it, fantastic. But other than the fact she wants a Pro Charger. I'm never 100% happy with it until I feel like it's running the way it should. I think it should be, maybe 0.2 faster or so than it is, but it's consistent and it runs up and down the track every time, and that's what she likes. And it hasn't had too much trouble qualifying. So No, it's been good. It's been real good. I still lots of things that I'm learning about it every time I make a change to it. Kind of changes a few things, but hopefully I can do a few things over the winter time and just try to make it a little better for next year.
Well, I'll take Drag Racing Mayhem's question and end with it as far as my line of questions for the great Dallas Glenn. Would you ever run Pro Mod at any of the Winter Series races?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody offered to let me drive their car, might consider it. There's lots of stuff that we're doing at the shop, so I'd kind of have to look at schedules and everything to be able to do it. But I've never driven a Pro Mod before. I think it would probably be pretty fun to drive. It would be a lot different. But no, I'm up to any challenge that they want to throw at me.
Okay, cool. I know if I can find you a ride, man, someone give up a seat. I want to get you in a Southeast Gassers Association car and you take a whirl in that. I'd like to see that.
That would be fun. Well, good luck the rest of the way, Dallas.
Yeah, well, thank you, and for having me on here. Those gassers look like they're a blast. I mean, every now and then they run at Mooresville. I can hear them while I'm working, or if I'm working late or anything. And those little small blocks are screaming in the 8th mile.
Oh gosh, it's insane. Yeah, what Fulton's pumping out, and then what they are ringing them to. It's absolutely insane.
It is.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me here, guys. I love being on here every time.
Thank you, Glenn. And hey, man, go get it. We're pulling for you. Go get it, man.
Thank you.
Dallas Glenn, driver for KB Titan, Red Torque wrenches there, and the NHRA Mission Foods Pro Stock, and getting it done. What a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, already it has been, even the first year, but he continues to add to it, and that championship's out there.
Yeah, I think it's this year.
I think it's this year too, but it is certainly out there.
Yeah. I do think Greg can never be counted out, but I think Dallas is in the zone. I really do. Vegas is going to be the race that he's going to have to make a statement. And he's been doing that. They both have been all year long. They've been trading it back and forth. Don't necessarily have to win it. You just make sure you get to the semifinal. That's going to be the key. And if he can do that, I think it'll make it extremely tough because both of those cars are running so well. It's going to make it extremely tough for Greg to make a comeback if he can at least just do that.
Well, I know this. In NHRA Mission Foods Pro Stock, when you fill out your bracket in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, you just need to have Greg Anderson and Dallas Glenn all the way to the final. If it works out that way, and you can have it that way, and then just pick who is going to win for the last 2 races. We're going to take a break, and then we'll dive in a little bit more on NHRA drag racing and beyond in the sport of drag racing. When you've got an opportunity, definitely play Drag Race Bracket Bonanza with NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Well, as Andrew Osterhaus states, hot take. I think the points are wrapped up in all classes. I don't think that is an ignorant statement at all. I think that is a great observation. I really think Texas this year did not provide for us a gut-wrenching, redirecting points moment. It really, well, I mean, I take that back. You could, depending on who it is, but I think what it provided for us this year, tone-wise, was separation from the good and the best. that's out there. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. I looked, I just saw Top Fuel. Justin's not out of it, but I think Doug's got it.
Yeah.
It would have to be catastrophic for Doug at this point at Las Vegas and Pomona. And I just think, I go back to Doug there at Maple Grove. I think when I saw that, and when I saw them pull that backup car out and win a round, not just put it in the beams and the car run, but when they won that round with a backup car after that incident, I'm like, he's going to be a champion. It's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I agree with you. For me, sure. I mean, you could say that there's a mathematical shot, but I mean, let's be honest here. Mike Green doesn't have his fastball. They have been predicated on the fact that we're going to keep it stupid simple. We're going to give you a car that's hopefully in the ballpark, but we're asking you to go out and be elite and be QB1 and make the plays for us to get us the W. And that's what happened in the second round. And they didn't have it. They didn't have it. He gave them the best. He did his job. The car was not there. And, he goes out in that second round. I think that pretty much, that says a lot about where this season has been for everybody that's been pretty much 2 on down. It's just they haven't been consistent enough. They show flashes of greatness, but nothing sustainable. And Justin has just been one that's been able to sustain it a little bit longer than everyone else. Tony, which Dave W. made a good point on the Not Bland show about, because I said ever since that Q4 run been thrown out, they haven't done anything, but they also lost the car and they're on a backup car. And I don't think they haven't figured that out either. So that's kind of hurt them. But I think that's pretty much done. I think Proc is, look, Hagen's kind of in the same situation. They don't really have a fastball either. Like they can keep it. They're going to do stuff to keep them in the ball game. And they're going to ask Matt to go out, and you're going to have to take a little bit for us so we can get a win. And right now, Austin isn't leaving any doors open. They're blowing the doors off of people. So when you don't have that fastball to be able to do what they're doing, it's going to be very difficult to catch. I think there is a small shot in pro stock motorcycle, but again, stay in the top half. 1, 2. Usually they're qualifying in. Richard is, so he's likely, unless they meet each other, kind of like what Dallas was talking about. Unless they meet each other in the second round, there's likely no chance that he goes out before semis. So he's getting to at least the semifinal round every time. And so we're talking 2 races left. I believe that things are wrapped up. There are possibilities, but I do think the people you see leading the charge are going to be the ones that end up getting the championship trophies.
I agree. It just has to be catastrophic going into the next 2 races. And, when I say catastrophic, I mean, we're talking about it, like go out round 1 type of situation. And at this point right now, I just don't see that from Doug Coletta. I don't see that from Austin Proc. I don't see that from Richard Gadsden. I don't see that from Dallas Glenn. Can it happen? Oh, yes. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, I think the people that we've got ahead, they're going to be leading the way. Now, certainly the best categories, as you mentioned, where we could possibly see a switch, see a change, is Pro Stock Motorcycle and Pro Stock Car. But nonetheless, this is really a fight between only 2 racers in every category. And when we look at the fuel categories, there's clear front runners that things would have to go immensely wrong. I think in Funny Car, John Force Racing is eyeing how do we get a 1-2 wrap up in this season with Austin Proc and Jack Beckman. That is certainly a possibility for them. And then in Top Fuel, I think Coletta Motorsports is eyeing the same thing. How can we get a 1-2 situation in the countdown. And man, interesting. Steve Torrance, last race of the year was this one in Texas, and he's sitting there in fourth, and he's going to let, possibly, I don't know how many he might drop back to all the way to ninth. I don't know if Josh, you just, spitballing the math here. I don't think Josh can quite catch him. Maybe not. But he might slip from fourth to 10th. And that's interesting.
Yeah. And it really is. I get where he's at with that.
Yes. Oh, certainly.
I also think Vance Hines is looking to finish 1, 2, 3 if they can. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's one of those things where, I wouldn't, if I'm busy and I'm running a business, and I'm like, I could come out here, but I don't need to come out here. I mean, I'm not racing for a championship, so I'll see y'all next year.
Right. Yeah. And Aaron for Elite is attempting just to finish as high as possible, and it's certainly going to be a third at this point if he can, get past Matt Hartford. But going into these last couple of races for the NHRA, we don't quite have the battles that I thought. Well, when I say thought, hoping that we get. We all kind of hope, I think, that it goes down into Pomona and we have these great scenarios where you've got several in play, and it's even got to go down to the final round, a mano, someone turn on a win light and they get the championship. But it doesn't always work that way. Granted, we've had some big thrills and spills already in this championship chase, and no telling what might be ahead of us. And for NHRA drag racing, as we talked with Billy Meyer, the Texas Motorplex, with the NFL lead-in, and we do recognize that. We recognize that the NFL lead-in played a major role in it, but the NHRA got eyeballs on its brand, major eyeballs, and, the numbers are over 1.8 million. Billy mentioned like combined total, you factor everything in, over 2 million. Literally NHRA is like most watched race.
Yeah.
And it edged out NASCAR.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to like put that asterisk and say, because of NFL lead-in, fine. So be it. More people saw the product.
Yeah.
And I think they were able to see an interesting product, and a product at a great facility in the Texas Motorplex, and one where stakes are clearer than even Maple Grove earlier in the season. Nothing against Maple Grove, but it's like everyone's got hope at Maple Grove.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to Texas, the posers, the ones who can't aim straight, well, they're no longer shooting, if you know what I mean. And we only got the straight shooters that are in play in the Lone Star State. And I think that went well, and it was a good presentation. And I'm disappointed I didn't get catch the broadcast or anything on NHRA.TV. I was traveling from Gulfport, Mississippi, but from everything I can tell, there was certainly great moments for NHRA drag racing on TV and before fresh eyeballs. And hopefully now we can look at last year, Vegas and Pomona with the finals, and hopefully there's an uptick to some percentage level of people tuning in as we go through these last two races.
Yeah, hopefully so. I think it was a great spot, and great spot. It was fitting that it would be the Motorplex that would be the lead-in, and they rocked it. I'm really excited about that. I made sure that I put I had like 3 screens going as I normally do during football season, and I had one of those on the broadcast. I fortunately enough, I left the same night. I left Saturday night and drove home. Got home early that morning, took a nap, And I had to watch the broadcast because I missed most of the NHRA TV stuff on Sunday because I was in and out of sleep. So, yeah, super happy for the NHRA and for the Motorplex and that being able to be the number. To answer your question, Blake, my drag racing picks were not very good. I did have 3 of the 4 winners picked. I did have the final correct in Top Fuel. Obviously, I did not have. I thought it'd be Jack and Austin and Funny Car, but I did pick Austin and I picked Dallas. I thought I had picked Richard to win, but I guess I picked Gage. I was half asleep when I made these picks, so I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's a lot of red on the ledger, but I did have the winners. So yeah, let's see what.
Yeah, well, Dugenay was suffering from like lobster meat sweats, is why he was struggling with getting picks in. So,
yeah. Oh man, that was.
Ladies and gentlemen, when the food comes out on a special plate, you know it's real.
Yeah, it was real. Very much so. He says, while we're on Tony, are we with some fans mad about him turning down that post-race interview, or is it much ado about nothing? It's what Tony Stewart has always done with his racing career. I didn't take anything from it. I figured he would turn that down because not only is he going to get questioned about that, but he's gonna get questioned, especially if it's Amanda Busey. He's going to get questioned about what Antron said. She's going to bring it up now. You better believe it. She's not going to pass that. She's willing to take that heat and maybe a little bit of cussing, and she's going to ask that question. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Look at my man Connor Forrest in the comments. What's up, man? NFL guy watching a drag racing show. That's what I'm talking about. That's
good to have you along. Hey, it's a good partnership. It worked out this past weekend for the NHRA Texas Motorplex. And look, work it out where everybody does that. That's why the NHRA wants influencers from different places to come in. It is a different set of eyeballs. And are you going to get every follower that they have to follow you? No, but you may very well pick up some. And if you have one person come to the track, I think that's worth it. Because we all know if you experience NHRA drag racing at the track, you are hooked.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over. You're hooked.
It's like crack. Like
it is. It is.
Over.
It is over. So congratulations to the Fox team with the NHRA and everyone involved. And congratulations always. We look at this weekend and it's like, wow, biggest viewership ever. But weekends like this happen in discussion and at a table and at lunch and in a business setting. So congratulations to whoever got the deal worked out to have this come about and it impact the sport. It does that. It impacts the sport. It allows you to go to potential marketing partners and say, hey, here's the potential of our numbers. And look, that's no different from what I would do with numbers, such as even with the Southeast Gassers Association. I'm going to take like a highest stream number, and then I'm going to take the lowest stream number, and I'm going to be like, hey, here's the range over a weekend. That's what you do. And you're like, here's the potential. And if you come on board and we've got your support and your marketing with us, we can take it that much further. Agreed. Speaking of the Southeast Gassers Association, look, drag racing had another good weekend. And I know that we are not able to cover it all, but you had a great weekend there at the NHRA Texas Fall Nationals with attendance and people watching on TV. Yeah. And you also had Ducks races happening down there at South Georgia Motorsports Park, which always has a rabid fan base, and they're tuning in and they're excited. There was a lot of carnage there as well. But you also had the Southeast Gassers Association there at Gulfport for the first time in its history. a double header weekend. They raced Friday and they raced Saturday, and it played out with the twists and turns that I think we all were expecting, except in Superstock. It kind of went how we all expected in Superstock. Nonetheless, for the Southeast Gassers Association and for Gulfport Dragway, the best two-day attended event in history.
Yeah.
Over 4,500 people, and the crowd that came out to support the Southeast Gassers Association and Gulfport Dragway was phenomenal. Thank you. And again, this is piggybacking off something bigger that is happening. Cruising the Coast is happening during this time. In fact, it's by this time already been going on for like a week and 5-6 days, and it's about to wrap up, but it's still got a lot of gas in it as a cruise in and a program, and people turned out to Gulfport Dragway already being in the area, certainly in tune to what is happening with Sega-style drag racing, and they were double file each and every day in a line all the way back to the main road. Like, I imagine there's people we lost because they just couldn't get in, and they just decided to just go on.
Yeah.
And the people that waited it out got some great drag racing put before them as they enjoyed it from the stands and enjoyed it from the fence line and enjoyed it from their vehicles and enjoyed it from the wall. Matter of fact, look, Dugenay, you give me the story from where I put you. I put you in the bed of my truck, and I said, you're going to film right here past the 8th mile, and you did fine work on the stream, and I appreciate that. But you've got an interesting perspective being down there, and we didn't realize there was going to be a problem, but before long, we're like, oh, we got a problem on one Friday night. Someone puts up an easy up in front of the shot.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, we've got an issue where you had to go save your spot or you were going to lose it. So just from your perspective, give us the great crowd turnout at Gulfport and the differences and just how cool it was, because you were able to experience the leaning line all the way to the quarter mile.
Yes. I'm like, there's one guy that came in Saturday, and he's telling people, you guys, they want us behind the fence line. If something happens, you guys close to the wall like that, you're going to get hit. And so I get down there and I'm like, I'm looking from the tower and I see people start to pull in. Well, it wasn't that many people at first. And then I went to go, went over to Bad Alibi, talked to him for a little bit. I went back and looked over in the corner and I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to have to take my car over there and park it sideways and, save my spot. I told the guys and the people around, I was like, hey, we're trying to, we're shooting live for the race here. If you can give me some space, that'd be great. So they were kind of helping out, keeping people back out of my view and making sure everybody set up to where I had a good shot and they could still see. Excellent crowd, man. They were totally into it. I had people even come over to see what type of setup I had before shooting, and they really enjoyed the event. They enjoyed the racing. There was tons of food, people offering you food, people offering you, making sure you're good as far as hydrated is concerned. It was awesome. Even got a beer right afterwards from a fan. That was great. So, man, it was loaded. And once we got set up, people just filed in right behind. There were three, sometimes 4 cars deep, people sitting on the back of their cars, back of their, trucks, had set up chairs in the back. And because it sloped uphill, nobody in front was really being blocked. It was kind of like having stadium seating with the way the hill crest there. So, people were just bringing, you wasn't even supposed to have RVs on the side that we were on. And, people were parking RVs. They didn't have nowhere else to park them. So they threw them in there. Some people weren't too happy about that, but they threw in their RVs over there. It was a great crowd, and just really want to thank Gulfport Dragway and their facility, their people who work at the facility. They did an excellent job. That is an excellent surface, beautiful surface, well done. And, the racing showed that out there on Friday and Saturday. They were deep on both sides, guys. I mean, all the way down past the scoreboards, down to the quarter-mile mark. This is the 8th-mile track. Yeah, it was a blast. It was almost like watching tailgating for football. Guys, they were there early. I mean, what was it like? It was like 10:30. I showed up at like 10, and by 10:30, 10:45, people were starting to fill out past the quarter mile. I had to go down there and grab my spot, and by the time we were ready to go at 12:30, it was really full on that side and on both sides, all the way down, to the far end of the quarter mile, and on the tower side, all the way down to the first turn road. So, yeah, great stuff, man. Great stuff. It's the perfect place and the perfect time for Sega and gassers to be out at a car show where there's gassers that are out there lined up along the strip. It's something you got to go see, man. People are out there camped out, sitting in their chairs along the strip there that goes from Gulfport to Biloxi. Cars riding up and down the strip, people cooking out, and they've got their cars on the side of the road showcasing them. Maybe they might be for sale. It was just, it's something that me and the wife are actually going to take a vacation and really enjoy it next year when we do this again, because it's so much that I missed because I didn't go earlier. But man, it was great. It was great stuff, and looking forward to in 2 weeks, or is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks or 3 weeks when we go and do our thing here for the last time at Shadyside Dragway. I'm looking forward to this race. It's going to be fun, man.
It was a blast down at Gulfport. Yes, thank you to the team there at Gulfport Dragway, the racecation destination, and it really is that. Look, when Cruising the Coast is in town, and you couple that with the Southeast Gassers Association race that this time was in its 3rd year, and I'm sure there's going to be a 4th in 2026, you just have a great combination. And it was a spectacular crowd both nights. Thank you to the fans for turning out. And some great racing. We do have some championships that are locked out. Hey, can go ahead and congratulate Jerry Dean in Superstock. He's been performing.
Told y'all.
And we can pretty much go ahead and congratulate Jaron Purdue in the C-Gas. Yes. No, B-Gas. No, I'm sorry. C-Gas ranks. But in many of the other categories, the doubleheader that Sega has never done proved to produce storylines that we kind of had concocted that, this might happen, and this might happen happened. One of them being Chase Howard. What a phenomenal turnaround.
Yeah.
The work that he had to put in. So for all of you that may not know, Knoxville, Tennessee, Knoxville Dragway, final round. You've got Chase Howard with the opportunity to win the race and take the points lead from Leslie Horn, who's the defending 2024 champion in the A-Gas category. Against Kenneth Phillips, he launches. The car darts to the center line. He knows what is at stake. He's driving it. He's willing it. But by the end of the 8th mile mark, he's on the top of his roof, rolls back over on all fours, and is okay, though there is certainly many more character marks on his 67 Chevelle, the USA 1 hot rod. They put in a lot of work. Him, his brother, Scotty Cannon. Scotty Cannon is helping him in tuning efforts, and they bring that car down to Gulfport. And Dugenais on Friday night, he reestablishes the Sega AGAS record 2 times, brings it down to a 5:14 elapsed time. Let me make sure on that. A 5:14 elapsed time on by the end, and you have it where, all right, it looks like he's going to go on and win this, but then in the second round, he stumbles.
Yeah.
And he admits it. And he does get a round win, but then Leslie Horn goes all the way to the final. Doesn't win. Greg Steltz and the Joker picks up his first win. So we bring it back Saturday. Again, that doubleheader scenario, like what is going to play out? We get the roller coaster ride. We get the twists and turns. We get the story that we were looking for, and we get it in other categories, but nonetheless, in AGAS, you have Leslie Horn stretch out a points lead. Chase Howard goes out early the night before, but it's a complete reversal on Saturday. Leslie Horn breaks a transmission. Round 1, he loses. He is on the trailer. Chase Howard does what he has got to do, goes all the way to the final, and wins in the final, winning his second event of the year in his 4th, if I remember correctly, final round of the year, and he assumes the points lead and stretched it, I believe, by at least 10 points going in to the last race of the year there at Shadyside Dragway just outside of Shelby, North Carolina, coming up on October 31st and November 1st. So we have certainly a championship fight in the AGAS category for everybody to watch.
Oh, yeah. That was huge for Chase. Really was pulling for him to pull that off. And way to bounce back on Saturday after, heartbreaking loss there. He can thank Greg a little bit for making sure that he can get those extra points for the win there. Big win for Greg. That car was not running well Thursday night. It was sick, very sick. Chris said it was sounding like it wasn't gonna make it. That's how bad it was, and they come out and get the win. It's gonna be fun at Shadyside. Really fun at Shadyside. But I told y'all, I called it out. I knew it. He was going to double up, man. This guy is completely just on one right now. Jerry Dean wasn't going to lose. I knew he wasn't going to lose.
No.
He won both of those races. Both of those races. It's amazing how well they've got that car running. And credit to them. They worked hard and they've made it happen. They have dog walked the field, and I expect them to continue that. Yes. The last race of the season, I expect that to continue, and they're going to get another win.
Yes. Shout out to Alan Lovelady, makes his first final in Sega competition in Superstock on Saturday. Yes, loses to Jerry Dean, but does make his first final in competition. The BGAS category is another one that's up in the air, and it is a fight between Ted McKee and Ken Rainwater. Now, I will say Ken Rainwater's Gulfport was not... I wouldn't say it was notable one way or the other.
Right.
It's not like he went out terribly early, but it's not like he went to the late final rounds.
Yeah.
But Ted McKee does pick up a win, does what he needs to. But then the very next day, we have that idiom of it was night and day. And it was night and day situation for Ted McKee and the Rocky Top Missile Chevy 2 Gasser in Sega competition, because there Friday night, the car to beat, and no one could beat it. He earns the second win on the season. Does what is necessary for him to tighten up the battle, to certainly make it a situation to go into Shadyside where it's up in the air. But then Saturday, it's like that car woke up on the wrong side of the pit.
Yeah. It was a totally different car.
Totally different car. and you have Ted McKee rolling to the water box. I'm filming on the line for the live stream, and he gives it the gas to do the burnout, and the gas wasn't going that much in the engine. It looked, instead of the Rocky Top missile, it looked like the Rocky Top fountain with the float breaking off the carburetor. It was just shooting fuel. So they cut him off. He loses that qualifying pass. The next qualifying pass, it just darts to the center line, and he goes out immensely early. He goes out really early on Saturday. So, yeah.
Yeah.
we got a battle there.
A battle.
So when it comes to Shadyside Dragway, the Southeast Gassers Association Championship Finals, October 30th, November 1st, there is still a lot on the line. Beautiful poster there by Stephen Smith, who does the promotional work and the merchandise wares for the Southeast Gassers Association. By the way, if you want to pick up some Sega swag, it is southeastgassersgear.com. But I highly recommend you need to get to that race because Shadyside is just like home for the Southeast Gassers, and it just fits. It's kind of, the Buffs are doing a great job with that facility, but yet it's got that nostalgia charm to it. And great corn dogs, by the way. But nonetheless,
I've got to try one this time.
Yeah, great corn dogs, by the way. And you get that nostalgia charm, and you get the racing of Sega and how intense it is, and yet how it brings it back to the time period and what they're trying to portray. The Southeast Gassers at Shadyside Dragway, just outside of Shelby, North Carolina, is a great place to catch it. And there is a lot on the line in deciding championships there at Shadyside. So you need to get there. But if you're not there in person,
he's going to be there.
Do what?
Ty says he's going to be there.
Awesome. Be there, Ty. We're looking forward to it. Say hello.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to be there, we will be streaming the championship finals. So you'll be able to catch it. So make sure you go subscribe to the Southeast Gassers Association YouTube channel and be ready for the action. A lot of great action taking place across the world of drag racing. It is healthy, whether it's nostalgia, vintage drag racing such as the Southeast Gassers Association or all the way to the NHRA Mission Foods series. And in speaking of, right now, there is a new Sick Week happening, Sick Smokies, and already very popular. And with that said, I do got to say this. I do got to say this. On Tom Bailey's YouTube channel, they're interviewing Mike Finnegan, and he is driving the Blasphemy in this Sick Smokies, and it might have been hyperbole. He might have been exaggerating, but he's like, well, I didn't, they got 70 gassers there in competition for the Sick Smokies. And he states, well, I didn't know there was 70 gassers in the country. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, how insular can you be, Mike, to not realize that when you start adding up the Southeast Gassers Association alone, well, I'll get back to that, matter of fact, but when you add up Dirty South Gassers, when you add up Brew City Gassers, when you add up, all these different gasser outfits, including the Southeast Gassers, there are hundreds of gassers out there. And yes, they might not all be able to go down on the road and participate in a drag and drive event, which are great, and I'm glad this is happening, but man, even this guy in car culture, how insular can you be to a particular type? And you've got a gasser, technically, somewhat, with the Blasphemy. Look, I reached out to Quayne Stott. I was like, Quayne, man, look. I just find this funny. This is what Mike said. I'm like, what's the most that's ever been car-wise at a Southeast Gassers Association event? This is just Sega, by the way. He said 2023 at Shadyside, he recalls around 103 Sega legal gassers in competition.
Insane.
I didn't know there was 70 gassers in the country.
Yeah, he's been living under a rock.
And look, I will say, let me also, for comparison, Mike Finnegan with a blown Hemi gasser, 55 Chevy, known as Blasphemy. Granted, it can do hundreds of miles of down the road. Went its quickest 8th mile pass at Rocket City Dragway. So glad for David Sharp and the team down there at Rocket City to have a great crowd, by the way. A 5:41 elapsed time. Booking, yes. But he's not even quicker than the B-gas cars.
No.
In the Southeast Gassers Association.
No.
In fact, what did I say earlier? Chase, with a naturally aspirated gasser, by the way, very similar to what it would have been in 1967.
Yeah.
Elapsed time record reestablished, and he does, and it's a 5:14.
Scooting and booting, and that's a heavy car, too.
Yes. Now, granted, Chase isn't going hundreds of miles down the road. I give Blasphemy that. Don't get me wrong. But naturally aspirated.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying.
I'm just glad to see that Blasphemy is going down the road, too. Last time I saw it, it was broke, and usually it is. So.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's parts nutrition is tough in that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
What's track prep like, to be fair? Light.
Very light. Yeah.
Like you don't see a tractor drag.
No.
Except maybe once.
Yep. Not a whole lot of spray. I don't even remember Gulfport spraying at all.
There is no, matter of fact, probably no spraying at all at Gulfport. I don't remember the cart ever going down.
Nope.
The only thing that happens is they will spray the launch area to help rubber to be reapplied because the cars are launching hard, therefore they're rolling rubber up and you get bald spots. And some tracks will do the rosin and spray right on the starting line again to help try to reapply rubber during the burnouts. Very similar to what happens with Pro Stock. But far as like full lane prep and after every category or even after rounds and all that, very rare.
Oh, very rare.
You might see it once, twice a day, maybe.
Yep. And that's usually because somebody put a little fluid on the track or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
It's usually because of that. But yeah, there's not too much lane dressing going on. That's
no,
for sure.
you're not having downtime at a Southeast Gassers Association event due to the Tractor Nationals. You are not having the downtime you've got is literally just to give the guys enough turnaround time to get back to the lanes. That is it.
Yep, that's it.
And then you get to see the popular Bugs interview that people like really want to see, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, they come out and they have great outfits. A lot of the ladies know
they work hard.
They work hard, man. They work hard throughout the day.
And I'm just going to put it out there before the public and before this audience, though. Backup girls are great. But really, 1960, we really wouldn't have had backup girls. That's later on with Jungle Pam.
Yeah.
Granted, I love what they're doing, but Chase's brother is out there. He backs up his USA 1 Chevelle. I will pay. I'm putting it out there. I will pay Chase's brother to wear an Indian outfit, just like it was back in the day with the car club from Ottawa, Canada, and they dressed up like a bunch of Indians. They rolled the people to the line, and you can see this footage on NHRA the Nationals at Detroit and other places, and all the way up like to the late 60s. Okay, I will pay someone wear an Indian outfit.
Speaking of that, it is October 31st.
See? It fits.
What are you wearing?
It fits. What am I wearing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need no mask. So that's I already got that covered. So speaking of that, Shadyside Dragway is going to be having Trick or Treat there. So that's going to be cool on Friday night. So
she's a little dusty.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like it. I like
I'm either doing this or I just need a yellow shirt. I have to find some black. I have to find some black boots or something, and I need to have like a chain around my neck. I have a belt buckle that says Cage, and I could go as Luke Cage.
Oh, okay. I like it. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll keep the beard and let it even grow as long as it can up to that point, and I'll find an Indian headdress and wear it with moccasins and a leather outfit. Maybe I'll just do it for the sake of historical accuracy.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Is it test and tune? Just test and tune, or are we?
Yeah, just test and tune. Yep, they're going to have some trick and treat there at Shady Side, and there's usually a good crowd at Shady Side for Friday night test and tune, and then we roll into action on Saturday for the last Southeast Gas Association race of 2025. But great weekend of drag racing. It's continuing again. Six Smokies. It's happening already. Big turnouts at the tracks that they have been at, and we've got more great racing action this weekend. We're getting it in. We're getting it in. Oh, by the way, look what I got, dude. Look what I got in the mail. IHRA drag review.
Awesome.
I put out the press release today, and they did too, that they are they're publishing once again Drag Review magazine, and that is so cool.
That is cool.
That they are doing that, and I didn't expect it, but I already paid my IHRA membership dues earlier this year. And by the way, if you're a member of the media and you're supporting and covering something, you should probably also be a member of it as well. Do you have your NHRA membership and IHRA membership and other memberships? So you should. So if you don't, you should. But yeah. So got it in the mail.
Awesome. That is cool.
It is. And good quality, great stories. And I will say, of what thumbing through, I haven't been able to read much, but there are great pictures, sure, but there's a whole lot of text. If people complain about not having a lot to read anymore in drag race, drag review, you got a lot to read.
I like it.
A lot to read.
I like it. That's good stuff.
Yes. I like it too. So, cool deal. You know, I made an issue of Drag Review one time.
Really?
Yeah, I made an issue. Maybe I can make an issue again one day.
Yeah. That's pretty darn cool. Race results? Yes. Yes, they do.
Drag Racing Mayhem. The digital version, they said in the press release, is coming, if not maybe already out. But I'm glad to see that it's here. Now, race results are in here, but I don't see like a grid where it's displayed like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But they are in here. And this seems to be covering the first two Outlaw Nitro Series races and then also the big Pro Mod race. So kind of first quarter, if you will, to some extent. The way they are portraying, this is Drag Review Magazine, issue number 1, October 2025. So pretty cool. Yes, Dave W. No ladders. Yeah, I would like to see some ladders. That would be cool.
Yeah,
but
that would be cool.
No ladders. There's some nice full.
Oh man, that's nice.
Yep, some great photos there from Robert Richard. Does great work, young man in the sport, and also you've got editor. The editor in chief is Craig Cook. He's got a lot of experience, even with Drag Illustrated. Kayla Zadell's on the action, and it's great to have this as a publication and out there. It's very cool to see, and I would say it doesn't quite have the paper quality of obviously Drag Illustrated or a national dragster, but I don't say that saying that it's cheap. It is a very nicely done publication, and this was nice to see in the mail. I posted the press release earlier, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get a copy. And I go to the mail after taking the wife to Texas Roadhouse. She begged. I had to. It was such a hard decision too. So we went up the road to Texas Roadhouse, and afterwards came back, checked the mail, and boom, it is in the mail. So cool deal by the IHRA.
Yeah, definitely. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like it. Ooh, look at this one.
Man, that's nice.
Ooh,
That's nice.
Yep. So that's cool. I'm glad the IHRA got that out.
Indeed. Yeah, I agree. Need some ladders. That'd be great.
Yeah, need some ladders. And Dave W. Look, Dave. Let's not do the inside jokes, okay? Let's not do that. But yes, it was absolutely epic.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. That's really good stuff.
It is. It
Happy
is.
for them.
It is. All right. Anything else? Anybody got any questions? What are we doing?
Any questions? Anything?
Look, I'm waiting for IHRA Galat, which is now Dorana Motorsports Park. And then, so I'm waiting for Sega at Shady Side. Then IHRA, there at former Galat Motorsports Park. And then Fuel Altered Chaos.
That should be good. Hey, look, if Bobby Bennett puts it out there, Bobby don't miss when he brings stuff up. That would be awesome if Rockingham is a part of that. Is that to be determined race? There's a lot of history there for all of NHRA and IHRA for that matter. That I was saying that on the Not Bland show. It takes me back to when Tom McEwen was in the Burgundy Coors Light vet, and you had Dale Pooley and that yellow and red Miller. I think that was an Oldsmobile or whatever, funny car. Yeah, man, good stuff. I really hope it is them.
Well, excuse me. Rockingham has been making huge improvements, and it's not even just a drag strip, both sides, because those two facilities are very intertwined and they're working it better for them. So like Rockingham Speedway, I mean, we're talking about right across the street, and they help one another. Like they let people park there, they let people park on the other side, and they are really working together. But then you look at the track, the drag strip, as a standalone facility, they are doing a phenomenal job. They've got a big task ahead of them, and they keep chipping away at it. Like they keep reworking the concrete grandstand section by section by section. They were rough, and there are sections that are still rough. But I even saw a post today. They were back at it, continuing the improvements there at Rockingham Dragway. I think that would be a great place for them to go. That gets you a bit more. It's central North Carolina, but you're not in the backyard of Concord, Charlotte, ZMAX Dragway. You are tapping into a different market of North Carolina. And Rockingham itself and that area is better situated for bigger events than it has been in the past as well. So there is a rise right now of Rockingham on both the drag racing and the stock car side, and that is good for Richmond County and that area of North Carolina. Not to mention that area of North Carolina, but the area of South Carolina. It's not too far up the road from South Carolina. It is good for that area and that part of the country.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's huge. And they have, I mean, if you've seen some of the improvements that they have made, it's pretty amazing. And I'm hoping that can be back on the schedule. I've always said that's a track that should be hosting national events. And so, it's going to be awesome if that's the case. But like I said, when Bobby puts something out, it's very rare he's missing. So,
yes, and we'll see. That to be determined, to be announced it's looming out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some good candidates, and honestly, the candidates are more than ever. And I say that because with them making moves to go to Maryland International Raceway, them making the move to go to the South Georgia Motorsports Park, that opens up the door for some other markets to have an in-countdown race.
Yeah.
Been saying it for years, Dugenay. If Epping, New Hampshire, and Kent, Washington can have a national event, there's a whole lot of other tracks that can also host a national event. Another one, I'll throw it out there. They've been wanting a national event for years. They've been clamoring about it. They've been even mad over it. Tulsa Raceway Park could host a national event. And, it's up the road from Ennis, and I say that hours, but that could be something that, I don't remember where that to be announced fail, if it was before the Texas Motorplex, but maybe you're en route to some extent, or en route to Worldwide Technology Raceway. So there's options for sure.
Yeah, there are options. I'm trying to see if I can get the schedule for that. Let's see.
What about a countdown race in Canada?
Man, that would be awesome. Let's see, the to be determined was. Yeah, it's in September. So you have Maple Grove, and then the to be determined slot, then Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Okay.
Then Texas Motorplex, then Vegas, obviously, then Pomona.
Well, that traditionally has been ZMAX, but move it over a little bit at Rockingham. That could work.
That could work.
You never know. It could work. Or what if it's a facility? Yeah, I don't know. There's options. It would be, I will say this, with it being Maple Grove, I imagine they'd want to keep it on the Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a drive back, and they're going to have to be very close to the hub, within a day's drive.
Yeah. Definitely would have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's either them, or I thought it could be Flying H too. So
Flying H, yeah. And I know we look at next year, and there's not many dates that are back. You're going back to the same facility, but let's say ZMAX is willing to give up a date and have action at another facility owned by that group. Bristol might be in play.
That is true.
Who knows?
That is true. Let's see. Are they? Yeah. Bristol's in June. You could have it again in that slot because it's on the way out there to Worldwide Technology Raceway. So you're not necessarily backtracking down the East Coast and then going out west to Illinois, but it's on the way out there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that could be a possibility too.
Mm-hmm. Right. Who knows? I do hope they take the opportunity to go to a different market.
Me too. And
I love what they've already done. Been asking for it, been saying it for years, and we are getting it. And I think 2026 has one of the best NHRA lineup schedule-wise that we've seen in years.
Yeah, I do. It's a really, really good schedule. Best we've ever seen, I think. I'm really looking forward to it, though. I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of new markets, and no doubles. Should be fun.
Also, I can tell you they're, speaking of schedules, whenever the Sega schedule drops and whenever the Chaos schedule drops, there's some interesting facilities and races.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm telling you, 2026 looks lit for drag racing.
Yeah, man. You're going to have IHRA in their 10 race championship series. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be on fire.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Dujanay, chat bleachers, anything else? No, there we go. That was last call. And not even for alcohol. You all have a great night. We thank you for tuning in here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Over there is Mr. Dujanay Bland. You can follow him at NotBland21. Get in on his shows, and you can follow me, Monday Morning Racer, on all the major platforms. I'm Lee Craft. To all of you, thank you for tuning in. By the way, I put in the comment section earlier, if you want to learn more about Billy Meyer, there is a Legends episode on Competition Plus YouTube. Bobby put out. You can learn a whole lot about him. Go check it out. Yeah, there's the link. You can find in the comment section. Just search Billy Meyer Legends, and it should pop up on YouTube. So to everyone, you do that. Enjoy the drag racing you got this week and weekend to come, and get to the track. To each and every one of you, God bless. Keep the pedal to the metal.
QuarterMileClassifieds.com is a new and easier alternative to online classified advertising. We make it a simple experience with $20 getting your car, hauler, engine, or parts listed for 2 weeks. If you want to make a bigger splash, we have VIP listings that provide even more exposure, including social media. On QuarterMileClassifieds.com, you get up to 10 photos of video and up to 2,000 characters to deliver the message you need to make the sale. QuarterMileClassifieds.com is a trusted classified ad partner of Competition Plus and the Rooftech Top Eliminator Bonus Fund. Visit QuarterMileClassifieds.com today.